everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Georgia and I'm a knit and crochet designer, and today I'm going to show you how to make this beautiful oversized sweater vest. And I know you guys said that you love specific instructions, so I'm going to give you that, but I am also going to give you the instructions on how to make this specific to you, so for your body, and you can do that in any yarn and any size hook. So if you've got, say, a chunky yarn and your gauge isn't the same as mine, then I'm going to explain to you what you need to do to get the right size for yourself. This is the easiest thing you will ever make. I'm not even joking. There's hardly anything to it, but it still looks really chic and like you tried hard but you actually didn't. So if you know how to crochet but you've just been sticking to the basics like scarves, hats, you know, sort of basic things like a scarf, you know, you just go back and forth like over and over again. If you haven't been able to brave something like a jumper but you want to, this is the best place to start. I'm going to talk you through everything. Give it a go. Don't be afraid. You can do this. There is quite, I don't know if you can see from this angle, but there is quite a large slit down the side. You can make the slit as big or as little as you want. So if you want to close up the gap a bit more, if like you want a bit more coverage, then that is like really easy to do as well, and I'll talk you through that. If you like this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. It helps me out more than you know, and maybe even subscribe if you feel like it. But without any more babbling, let's get crafting.
Okay, so you are going to need Aran / worsted / size 4 yarn. I do apologise, I don't have any of the yarn left, but this is the yarn that I used. It's Knitting Essentials Aran yarn from Poundland. You also need some scissors and a 6mm crochet hook. You may also need a tape measure if you're going to follow the freestyle instructions. And last but not least, you need a yarn needle to do a bit of seaming and also for weaving in the ends.
Hello, it's editing me, so I just wanted to leave on the screen the sizes and the gauge. So I'll leave those on the screen now. The sizes has like different measurements, so I'll leave all the info on the screen and choose a size depending on what's on the screen right now. The gauge you need to follow if you are doing like the sizes that are on the screen. If you're going to follow all of those instructions, then you need to follow the gauge. If you want to do the freestyle instructions where you basically do it freestyle and I'll explain to you how to do that, then you don't need to worry about the gauge.
So as always, we're going to start off with a slip knot, and you may notice that I've changed my hook and it is going to change a little bit throughout this, but it is a 6mm. So for size extra small to small, chain 71, for small to medium, chain 75, for medium to large, chain 78, and for large to extra large, chain 82. For the freestyle method, this is going to be the length or like the height of your sweater vest. So chain however long you want your sweater vest to be from the top of your shoulder downwards. You can literally just hold the chain up to your shoulder, let it drop down, and wherever that chain falls is how long your top will be roughly. I am making this size small to medium, so I've done my chain 75, and now for all sizes we're going to double crochet in the third chain from the hook. So you've got 1, 2, and 3. That is the third chain from the hook. So you're going to yarn over, which I've already done, and then insert the hook into that third chain. Yarn over, pull up a loop. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops. And we're going to continue with that into the next chain and in every chain along until you've completed row 1.
Okay, so I apologise, I've got all grey on, so it might be a bit hard to see. As you may be able to tell, we love grey in this house. This is just a coincidence, I promise. So the top I'm wearing right now has a seam like right at the top of the shoulder, so that is where one end of this is going to be. So if you put it right at the top of your shoulder, so not there but like right at the top, and then just let this hang. It's probably better to do this standing up as well so you're not slouched, and just let that go down like that. That's how long it's going to be. Mine's just about where my belly button is. I'm just going to quickly stand up just to check. Okay, so to be completely honest, I actually want mine longer than this, so I'm going to undo the work and do it again. So I chained 60 before, but I think I'm going to chain about, how much longer do I want it? Maybe like 75. Yep, so mine is coming just under my belly button, which I feel like is a nice place because it's kind of where like a lot of jeans stop. It will kind of sit nicely. So once you're happy with your double crochets, you're going to chain 2, turn the work, and now we're going to double crochet along this row, but we're going to go into the back loop only. So we're going to go into that one next. Also as well, I feel like not everyone does this thing where they chain 2 and turn. So you can just, like, here's another technique. Instead of doing a chain 2 and turn, you can just turn and do a double crochet straight into the first stitch. But as you can see, I'm struggling because this isn't what I normally do. And that would be your first double crochet. But the way I do it, you know, just do it however works for you. You know, you don't have to do the way I'm doing it, but the way I do it is I chain 2, I then turn the work, and that chain 2 counts as a stitch. So as you can see, there's the stitch, this one, and that goes with that. So we'd usually go in there, but we're actually going to go into the back loop only, and then double crochet again into the next one. So rather than going straight in like we usually would, we're not going to go into that first stitch, we're going to go into the back loop, and just do that along the row. And when you get to the end, I will show you, but you need to make sure you don't do an extra stitch, and you also want to make sure you don't miss a stitch, because I used to do that all the time when you're doing back loop only, especially on like row number 3 and onwards. I would always accidentally miss the last stitch, and then my work would start decreasing, but we don't want it to decrease. But I will show you that. Okay, so as you can see, there's like a little ridge going on. That is where we have done it in the back loop, and then that will be the wrong side because you can't really see anything on this side. But that side is where the magic happens. So now I'm getting right to the end of row 2. So I've got 2 left. So those few chains there, that is the last stitch. So I'm going to go into the back loop of that one, and then we have one more into the back loop there, and there we have row 2 complete. Now we're going to chain 2, turn the work, and once again double crochet into the back loop, and continue with that until the end of the row. Okay, so this is what we've got so far, and now I'm at the end of row 3. So we have 2 stitches left. So it's quite easy to leave it there. I know it probably looks quite obvious, but I always used to accidentally leave it there and then go on to the next row. But that will mean that your work will start to decrease. So you got to make sure you go into that very last stitch, which is the beginning chain 2 from the last row. There we go. And now we're going to continue with this chain 2, turn, double crochet, back loop only along each row until you have a total of
14 rows for extra small to small, 15 rows for small to medium, 16 rows for medium to large, 17 rows for large to extra large. If you're doing the freestyle method, this is going to be the width of one shoulder, so from the side of your neck and out. I've inserted a photo to show you what I mean. So the bit that we're working now is where the red arrow is shown. Hold the work up to your collarbone and see what width you need. So I've got my 15 rows, and now we're going to add in the neck section, so the turtleneck sort of part of the jumper. So instead of chaining 2 and turning like what we have been doing, you are going to now chain 17. So that's chain 1 7, not 70, 17. That goes for all sizes. So I'll just show you, I have sped it up, but just so you can see. So your work should now be looking something like this. You've got the extra chain 17 coming out from the end, and now we're going to work along that chain and then along the whole rest of the row all the way along. So you want to double crochet in the 3rd chain from the hook, just like we did right at the beginning. Double crochet in the next chain along and in all the chains that you just made. This is what it should look like once you have done all of those chains. And then what we're going to do is carry on down the rest of the work, making sure to go in the back loop only. So this is what the work now looks like, and we're now going to carry on double crochet in every stitch on every row, making sure to go in the back loop only and including that turtleneck section in each row as well. Keep doing that until you have a total of 27 rows for size extra small to small, 28 rows for size small to medium, 31 rows for medium to large, and 32 rows for large to extra large. Now your work should look something similar to this. You're going to chain 2 and turn your work, and you're going to double crochet in the back loop only. For size extra small to small, you want to double crochet into the next 69 stitches. For small to medium, double crochet into the next 73 stitches. For medium and large, it's into the next 76 stitches. And for large to extra large, double crochet back loop only into the next 80 stitches. Once you've done that, you chain 2 and turn your work and carry on with double crochet into the back loop only. I'll leave how many rows you need to do on the screen. So this is what your first panel should look like. And now we're going to make the exact same thing again. So can't remember how many I chained on, but we're going to chain on the same amount. And literally just repeat this in the exact same way. If I were you, I would rewind the video, go back and rewatch again, so you make the second panel the exact same as the first one, and then after that there's not much left to do. I will meet you at the next bit. So I've done both of my panels, and sadly I actually ran out of yarn on my second panel and I couldn't get any more of the same yarn, so I had to add in a different one, which in a second you'll see is why there's like a lighter stripe down the edge. It is a bit of a shame, but it couldn't be helped. So once you have both your panels, you need to place one on top of the other so that they both match up. What we're going to do is you've got one piece on top of the other, and you're going to sew along here and then up here, so just along up, and then also on the other side the exact same. You're going to go along here because this is going to be the top of the shoulder, and then up there, and then you're going to leave this bit open because your head is going to go through there, so you just sew along there and along there. So I'm going to grab my yarn and my yarn needle. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, so I'm just making sure that everything's lined up properly, and then just insert the yarn needle into the stitches.
And then we're just going to pull that through. As you can see, my cat finds this yarn very interesting. So just go through each stitch, each loop. Sorry about this. And you can see I'm just creating
a nice little seam.
So actually it's probably good that I'm using a different colour yarn, because you can see, let me zoom you in, what I'm doing with each stitch. So we just go in through each stitch, pull through, and just keep doing that along.
So now I've done that on both sides. The work is joined together at the top, and you can see the little section where the head will go through. So that's there. So now all that's left to do is to sew up the sides of the jumper. Now, I did say before that you can make the armhole smaller or bigger, so that all depends on what you do now with this seaming. Also, I forgot to mention, if you prefer to crochet your seams, then feel free to do that. So I made the size small to medium, and you can see now I'm just counting up stitches from the bottom, and I counted up 25 stitches. When I got to 25 stitches, I just marked that in place, and then that is the section that I seamed. As a general rule of thumb, I would seam up about a third, so the first third of the sweater from the bottom up. But if you do want more coverage, then you could sew up half of the side of the sweater, so from the bottom and up to sort of like the middle. This bit is completely down to you. You can sew and then try it on and see how you feel. If you want more coverage, then add a bit more. If you want less coverage, then you can take some away. So I've just done one side, and you can see it's about 1/3 of the stitches have been sewed. I really hope that makes sense. So I'm going to flip my work over and now do the exact same on the other side, and make sure you do the exact same amount of stitches so that it's completely even. And you can see that both sides are completely even and the same amount of stitches have been sewed. All that's left to do now is weave in those pesky ends, and I'm just showing you here that your work technically is currently inside out because of the seaming. So when you're done and you want to wear your sweater, turn it around the other way and the seams should be pretty much invisible.
Guys, if you got to the end of the video, well done. You should be so proud of yourself, especially if you're a beginner. I would love you to tag me in your projects on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook, anything. Just tag me at JeggoCrochet. You can also sell these if you want to. Just make sure you credit me as the original designer. But I don't mind if you want to like make a bit of dollar selling these to your friends, your family on Etsy or something like that. Don't forget to smash that thumbs up button, subscribe, and I'll see you all very soon. Thanks for watching.